And I'm starting to kind of tear up, but as a mother, I just felt like I absolutely failed her. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. If you don't know me, my name is Bella, also known as This Mindful Mama here on YouTube. And today I'm just going to talk about something that was really hard for us as a family, and specifically me as a mother, because I know that this isn't an abnormal occurrence and a lot of moms have gone through this or are going through this right now, and it's just kind of really important to talk about. As you saw from the title, this one's going to be super emotional and just kind of real and raw, and I'm just going to open up and talk about it. So I think I'm just going to start at the beginning and just work my way through the whole story. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my little timeline so I don't leave out anything. So sorry if you catch me kind of glancing at my notes. So my little girl Kennedy was born July 24th, 2020, and she was 7.7 pounds, so completely normal, healthy, average baby. And it was also a COVID pregnancy, and I'll link that story time below if you want to see that. But all in all, her weight was perfectly fine. Nobody said anything about it being low or anything. There was a little issue when she was born where she swallowed a lot of amniotic fluid, but they said that that wasn't an issue and it just passed normally. So after she was born, we went home pretty quickly because there were no issues, and she was set up with kind of a 3-day check-in appointment. And we got her home and she was latching perfectly fine because she's breastfed exclusively, and especially at that point she was exclusively breastfed. So everything seemed to be okay. We had like a couple of hiccups here and there, but all in all everything seemed to be going fine. It wasn't until we went to her 3-day appointment that something was kind of wrong. The nurse who weighed her told us that she lost a whole pound of weight, and it's normal for them to lose a little bit of weight, but not a whole pound. So immediately I started pumping every 2 hours, trying to really get my milk supply up in case that was the issue. It was like clockwork. I had alarms set for literally every 2 hours. And we went back home and everything seemed to be okay with her latching, and even we were bottle feeding her to make sure that she was getting enough, but she was definitely still just fed with breast milk. So jumping ahead 3 weeks, she started to get maybe a little bit sick. She was throwing up, she was really fussy, just kind of all types of things that babies do when they're just not feeling good. So we called the nurse line, and it was recommended that we go to the ER ASAP. And just as a reminder, this was still like the height of COVID, so it wasn't probably the safest thing to do, but we definitely still went because we were told to, and we were really worried. And as soon as I told the staff working and some of the nurses that she was being breastfed, we were put in a separate room so that I could nurse her in private and it would be a little bit cleaner. So of course we were there for hours, like you are if you go to the emergency room. And after a while, an admissions person came in, and I was really confused because we hadn't been told that we were getting admitted or anything. So naturally, as a brand new mom, I was really upset. I had no idea what was going on because we weren't told anything. So the admissions person grabbed a doctor, and then I was told that she was getting admitted to the hospital because she wasn't gaining weight, but at that point they didn't know why. So my mind started going 10 million miles an hour, thinking of every possible bad scenario that it could possibly be. That's just kind of what you do as a mom, but it was amplified because she was only 3 weeks old, and it was really scary. I'm thinking, is it my breast milk? What's the issue? I had no idea. So pretty quickly after that, they got us into our hospital room, And it was probably about midnight at that point. And I think I have some footage. It was a super tiny room, so if I find it, I'll insert the footage here. And that night was honestly one of the worst nights of my entire life. Like, I felt like there was absolutely nothing I could do. And to make it all worse, Matt couldn't even be in the room because of all the COVID restrictions. Like, I was just feeling like I was just failing as a mom. Like, I felt like the worst mom in the whole world. We were all alone and Kennedy wasn't feeling good. And we were the only ones in the whole pediatric unit. It was me, Kennedy, and like 3 nurses. And I'm starting to kind of tear up, but as a mother, I just felt like I absolutely failed her. Like, I was just feeling so guilty. Nurses were in and out of our room doing weight checks. Other people were coming in to do other tests, even the COVID test on her. And that really sucked. I was really sad that she had to go through that. And the policy at the time was Matt and I couldn't be in the room at the same time as her. Like, no 2 people, like no 2 parents could be in the same room with the child at the same time, if that made sense. So me and him were having to meet in the lobby and like quickly relay information to each other and then like split up from there. Like, one of us went home and the other one went up to the room after being basically briefed on the situation going on at the time. And I probably was there at the hospital with her about 80% of the time. And Matt was even saying, go home and wait until you're completely rested to come back. But she was getting exclusively breast milk at that time, and I was scared that they were going to run out of frozen milk. So I just kind of had to stay. So the only time that I really went home was to like maybe shower, change clothes, and then just turn right back around to go to the hospital because, again, there wasn't an unlimited amount of frozen milk with her only being 3 weeks old. I didn't have time to build up a stash at that point like I do now. And at some point, our room was switched. Like, they had to switch rooms to a larger room because it looked like we were gonna be there a while. And I'll see if I have some footage of that room and I'll put it in here. And it was really frustrating because we weren't really getting anywhere with her weight. At one point, it even dropped a little bit. And that was really upsetting and just really confusing. So at that point, we've probably been there like 2 to 3 days, and I'm getting really concerned. And I'm telling the nurses that, I'm really worried. And I even cried a little bit in front of one of the nurses because at this point, I'm only 3 weeks postpartum. So I'm doing my best to keep myself together. And then I have this whole situation with the baby. So it was just a lot of emotions and hormones and everything at that point. Nothing was working in my favor, that's for sure. Like, definitely, it was just really hard. So I was barely sleeping, and I don't even think I ate much at all. I don't remember eating anything. So finally, after it was in the range of 5, 6, 7 days, her weight started to stabilize a little bit, and it was looking a little bit more hopeful for going home sometime soon. And then the day after that, there was a small increase. The day after that, it was finally stabilized to the point where we could go home. And for weeks and weeks after, we were doing multiple check-ins a week with a lactation consultant, multiple weigh-ins to try to figure out why she just wasn't gaining weight. appropriately. And we were never really able to pinpoint the issue. I kept asking if it was like not enough nutrients in my breast milk, and they didn't seem to think that that was the issue at all. Like, she was just a skinny mini. Like, that was kind of it. Like, no other real explanation. So her official diagnosis was failure to thrive, which is kind of, if you don't know, it's kind of a blanket diagnosis for kind of multiple different scenarios, but it's not really a pinpointed issue. But now, 7 months in, she's, chunky, and she is now 15 pounds, so she seems to be looking good weight-wise. Like, totally normal for what it should be for kind of her height and her age. So we were just super lucky that everything turned out okay. And I would bring her in right now, but she's napping. I just checked on her. So I don't think that I'm gonna do my normal outro, because this is just really personal for me, and I got kind of emotional. It just doesn't feel right to, do the whole normal, happy, like, subscribe, comment thing. So I think I'm just gonna close out with a video of a music therapist that sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to Kennedy when she was in the hospital, because I really do want to shout out every doctor and nurse and everybody that was there for us at this time, because it was just really, really hard. But I do want to thank everybody that made it through to the end of this video, because it got pretty emotional for me. So I'm just going to close this out by saying thanks again for making it through the end, and I'll see you in my next video, and I'm going to put the footage in right here.
Look who just woke up from their nap. Say, I just woke up. See, you're perfect now. You're perfect. Hey, can you look in the camera and say bye without flopping your ear in front of your face? Say bye. Say thank you. Bye.
Say thank you. Appreciate it.
She's like, okay, sure.